Welcome to the Western Winter Wheat Initiative Spring 2016 webinar. Today we're going to hear from Amanda Swanson, the Western Winter Wheat Initiative agronomist from Southern Saskatchewan. And today she's going to speak about spring assessment of your winter wheat.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Carly said, my name is Amanda Swanson, and I am the agronomist out of Southern Saskatchewan, and I'll be talking about spring assessment today. A little overview of what we'll be talking about today, things that affect winter survival, how to conduct spring assessment, 2016 prairie checkup, and making the final decision. Things that affect winter survival. There are various factors that affect winter survival. Crop stage going into winter is very important. Snow cover, which can be maximized by seeding into standing stubble. Soil temperatures, variety differences, and seed treatment effects. Crop staging. We recommend that you seed early. From the end of August into the middle of September is ideal. Stubble type. Canola stubble is ideal for snow trap potential. Seed shallow. We recommend you treat winter wheat like canola. Seed 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep. The winter wheat only needs a small amount of moisture to germinate and get up and going in the fall, so seeding shallow is very important. And target 30 plants per square foot when you are making your fall seeding calculations. The ideal stage for winter wheat going into winter is 3-leaf. Winter wheat survival, again, is based on a number of things. The stage going into winter is very important, which is affected by the date of germination, which is affected by seeding date. So when winter wheat is 3-leaf and a tiller going into winter, you can expect 100% of your possible yield potential. And as that crop gets smaller and smaller and more delayed going into winter, your yield factor can be affected. So if the winter wheat has not germinated going into winter, you could potentially expect only 60, but maybe still get up to 100% of that yield potential depending on next year's conditions. A note about winter wheat and temperatures. Nighttime temperatures are the key to winter wheat dehardening. Dehardening begins when nighttime temperatures are consistently above 0 degrees. Plants have completely dehardened and begin to resume growth once nighttime temperatures are above 9 degrees. So for those of you that are concerned about the temperatures on their winter wheat, nighttime temps above 9 degrees, we have not seen anywhere close to that, so there's no need to worry just yet. Winter wheat varieties, there are also different winter survival variety differences. The varieties we have in Western Canada today range from fair to very good. Agronomics are a very important part of winter survival and are even more important than variety differences, and you would not choose a winter wheat variety based upon its winter survival, but this table gives you an idea of which varieties have better or poorer winter survival. Seed treatment effects. We conducted a seed treatment trial with 200 seeds, so a low seeding rate, and 400 seeds, which is a high seeding rate. The plots were treated or untreated with Roxel Pro, which had no insecticide component. This trial happened at IHARF, the Indian Head Research Farm. Spring of 2013 is when we went out and took these pictures of the plots. As a side note, the fall of 2012 was very dry, and none of these plots germinated, and none of the winter wheat came out of the ground in the fall. So on the left, we have the untreated 400 seeds, the high seeding rate, and untreated 200 seeds. Here we have treated plots of low and high seeding rates, and you can definitely see the difference that the seeding rate made with these plots and higher germination on the treated stuff than the untreated stuff. Here we have treated 400 seeds per meter squared, which is definitely the best looking plot. We have a higher seeding rate as well as seed treatment, and we had really good germination and stand establishment in these plots. Here we have untreated and treated 400 seeds, so same seeding rate, the only difference here was seed treatment, and it made a huge difference with, again, stand establishment and germination of these winter wheat plots. The seed treatment made a big difference. And here we have untreated 200 seeds. So worst case scenario, no seed treatment and low seeding rate, and less than half the plot came up. So we had less than 50% germination on these plots here. So this just goes to show you that Seed treatment can make a huge difference with winter wheat. How to conduct spring assessment? Step one is to be patient. As soon as the weather starts to warm up, guys get really excited to get out there and check on their winter wheat, but you really need to give that crop time to recover, so please don't rush spring assessment. Step two is to monitor during spring seeding when you're seeding your other crops. There are a couple of ways to test survival. You can do an in-field test or a paper towel test. In-field test, you can head out there, you can dig up several plants. You're wanting to look for new root growth, so new white roots. You can peel back the layers of the crown tissue, and if you have new white crown tissue, things are looking good. Just because there are desiccated leaves in the field does not mean the plants are dead. And on the flip side, just because you still have green leaves doesn't mean the plants are alive. Sometimes they will retain the chlorophyll and stay green over the winter. If you find new root growth and white-colored crown tissue, that's a great sign. Plants are alive. And if you're unsure, you can try the paper towel test or the bag test. The paper towel test, same procedure. You go out to the field, you dig up some plants. You want to rinse off the plants, rinse off the root system. You place some plants in a moist paper towel and wrap them up. Put them in a warm area that will be exposed to light, and plants that are alive will begin growing new roots. So as you can see from this photo, these plants started to grow new roots. We have crazy new root growth growing through the paper towels, which is a great sign that these plants made it through the winter. On to our Prairie Spring checkup. These are some pictures from Moose Jaw. This field was on April 4th. In the Moose Jaw area, we had very little snow cover all winter, so this field hasn't had much snow on it all winter long. This plant on the left is from this field. We conducted a bag test on it a couple weeks ago, and as you can see, we have lots of new white root growth, and things are looking great. We have some photos here from central Alberta, and I have a statement from our agronomist out in Alberta who says, with the exception of the East Central Alberta site, all the demo sites are now snow-free. These photos are from the Camrose area around central Alberta, and the field is bare and the crops are doing well. To date, winter survival is estimated to be great. If there is a yield reduction in Alberta, it will be due to poor spring moisture. Here are a few shots of the field, and as you can see, the crop is looking great. And when she conducted a bag test, as you can see from the photo in the bottom left, there are new white roots, and there was really great recovery signs from those fields. Something to note is that the spring wheat breeder in Lethbridge reported seeing overwintering rust near some of his plots. However, when our agronomist was out in the field at the end of March, she didn't see any rust even in the most southern field. These photos are from Kenaston, Saskatchewan, from our rep in the north. She says that most of her winter wheat sites out west do not have any more snow cover left in the field, except for one east of Kenora. They still have a foot of snow on the winter wheat out there. These pictures were taken around Kenaston, and she conducted a bag test from winter wheat plants from this field, and recovery was 100%. So things are also looking really great for northern Saskatchewan. These photos are from the Interlake area of Manitoba. Obviously, there was still a little bit of snow left in these fields at the end of March. We have two stories from Manitoba. We have some slides here with soil temperatures. The first one is from TransCanada South. So our agronomist writes that we have two stories from Manitoba. This is from the southern Manitoba location. The soil temperature chart states that daytime temps have exceeded zero for a number of days in a row. The key is nighttime temps above zero, however, which have obviously occurred too. So he suspects that the winter wheat started to regrow in these fields. However, only a portion of the plants would regrow, and it would be affected by soil type in those fields as well. The second chart we have here is from north of the TransCanada. There are no issues here with being concerned with warm temperatures. So it's too early to make a definitive statement about things in Manitoba, but our agronomist suspects that we would need to plan on managing for thinner stands south of the Trans-Canada, which means less competitive crops, so early nitrogen is important, and perhaps some wild oat control might be necessary. Just an important side note here, these are some photos that I took from a winter wheat field in southern Saskatchewan. So we saw a lot of stripe rust in the fall, which we haven't seen before. There were fields in southern Saskatchewan as well as northern Saskatchewan and Alberta that all had stripe rust. It was a lot more noticeable on the more mature crops that had been seeded early, and the smaller crops we didn't find any rust. So when you're out there in the springtime conducting your spring assessment, if you had rust in the fall, be sure to be scouting for it in the springtime to see if it's moving to the new growth. And if it is, you might need to make an early fungicide application. But I won't talk too much about rust because we have another presentation about that particular issue. Now we're on to step 3, making the final decision, which happens about midway through spring seeding. If you decide to keep a struggling crop, early application of nitrogen is necessary to give that crop a boost and get it going. Struggling winter wheat will behave more like spring wheat, which means it's less competitive with weeds. You may need to apply a grassy herbicide to help it out. It may delay maturity, which means increased risk of insects like wheat midge and fusarium head blight, depending on the area that you're in. And you may take a yield penalty for a late winter wheat crop as well. If you decide to terminate a struggling crop, consider a few things. Will a late seeded spring crop out-yield a poor winter wheat crop? We've had many instances where growers considered terminating fields or terminated portions of fields and wish that they hadn't because the winter wheat actually bounced back and did quite well for them. If you decide to completely terminate a crop, make sure you spray out the winter wheat, give that field a disease break before seeding your next crop, and credit any of the spring applied nitrogen to the following crop that you seed. If you take away anything from this presentation today, be patient. Please be patient. I know guys are really excited to get out there and check their winter wheat and see how it's doing, but please give that crop enough time to recover before making any final decisions.
Thanks for that, Amanda. I think you're going to be putting a lot of growers' minds at ease with that presentation. And as always, we have lots of information on our website and on our Twitter accounts so we can help you make some informed decisions moving forward. And like I said, we are on Twitter. Our handle is @GrowWinterWheat. Use #WinterWheat. Ask us questions. Follow us to find some really great information. We are on Twitter. And we are also have a great website. It's growwinterwheat.ca. It's a great resource to find any information around winter wheat in Western Canada, and it is updated regularly. We hope you can log on there and see what's all on there. The Western Winter Wheat Initiative is a partnership between Bayer, Ducks Unlimited Canada, the Mosaic Company, and Richardson International, and we're here to support Western Canadian winter wheat growers. Thank you for joining us today.